Hello everybody, Dokkan Assets here. What, a figure news video on a Saturday? What's going on? That's right. To give you the quick TLDR, normally I would obviously post the figure news videos every other Sunday, but because of the circumstances with the figure that I wanted to unbox this week, which was the Dokkan Battle LR Super Saiyan God Goku and Vegeta, I was hoping that they would get here by now and I would be able to review them for Saturday's unboxing video, but unfortunately the shipment seems like it's not going to come in till next week. So in preparation for that, I didn't have a video ready for this weekend, and I'm also kind of hoping that maybe they'll come early on Saturday, which will be obviously when this uploads. I'm recording this the night before it goes up. So we'll see what happens there. Otherwise, I'll just upload some other figure unboxing. I'll figure that out when the time comes. But this will be the one time, I mean, maybe this will happen in the future, I'm not sure. But for now, this is just a one-time thing where we're just going to be switching it up between Saturday and Sunday. And obviously, if any news drops on Sunday tomorrow, then I will cover it in the next figure news video. Let's go ahead and get into it, though. We have a lot of ground to cover today, as you can see by the multitude of tabs open on my Google Chrome. I'm sure my RAM is screaming right now. But we obviously are doing this in the sort of new format for the figure news. If you weren't here for the last one, basically we are going through DBZFigures.com and Baggy Saiyans Twitter, but I have been taking the tweets from throughout the week and sort of giving you a filter via me by only taking the tweets related to Dragon Ball figure news that Baggy has made within the last 2 weeks, and the figure tweets that I think you need to see as well. And as well, I'm trying to combine some of the certain things, like if there's a news story that both cover, I'm combining it into one section of the video, or at least doing my best. For Baggy's tweets, there are a lot of things that are sort of mishmashed in, but for the DBZ figure ones, I tried to get them combined. Anyway, with all that being said, let's go ahead and get into the video. First of all, we have Premium Bandai finally announces Zarbon. I almost called him Barbon. That sounds like a Star Trek villain. The Zarbon ship date for the SH Figuarts Zarbon. If you ordered him, you probably got an update from Premium Bandai noting that he will finally ship on July 12th. I know that this guy has had a delay in the past, I believe, so cool that he is finally getting shipped out. So if you ordered him, there you go. We have the pre-order available for the boy Clear Eyes Super Saiyan Gohan, the Great Saiyaman version. We've taken a look at this figure a couple of times now. Obviously, this guy looks super sick. Definitely going to have to cop this guy for myself. But if you would like to get him, he is going to be costing you $26.99, and you can pre-order him on the Big Bad Toy Store, of course. You may be able to find him cheaper some other places. I will take a look around myself because I'm definitely going to get this figure. But he will be releasing in December 2022, so definitely keep an eye out for this bad boy. By the way, here you can see it actually says that he's 7.1 inches, which is pretty cool. All right. Moving on to our next section. So this was actually super cool and had the announcement of a SH Figuarts figure that stirred up a little bit of controversy in the community. This is going to be our first big section of the video. We have the Tamashii Nations Tokyo renewal. So as you can see here, we have a little bit of a remodel for the Tamashii Nation store in Tokyo, Japan, which is pretty cool. And one of the new prototypes that was just shown off is a Porunga with Dende and the Namekian Dragon Balls. There was an old prototype, but it was just with Porunga, and that looked kind of odd because obviously, right, the prototype was not as clean as this one, but this one definitely looks a little bit bigger. This is definitely, I think at this point, for sure, one of the last of the Namek figures that we're going to get. So let's actually take a look at this guy. I believe we do have the Tamashii Nations tweet, so we can get a little bit of a close-up on these couple of pictures here. But we'll look at on the actual website for the features, because something interesting will lead into that. So, as you can see, this is the boy. He does look really, really cool. It seems to me that he doesn't have a great amount of articulation. It looks like his arms are certainly articulated. His neck is articulated. Maybe you can move the fin back a little bit. And there may be a well, I guess you would call that his waist. A waist swivel in the middle of the figure, which is quite interesting. As well, Dende is actually very nicely sculpted. It looks like that he is not articulated, though I do feel like I've seen pictures of him like yelling up at Shinron. So I don't know if these are separate pieces, or maybe it's like he has separate heads. I'm kind of assuming that that's the case. Maybe he also has separate hands. Maybe the arms, you can move them forward, right? Because if you could move them forward, you would definitely be able to get this pose if you could take out the hands. And obviously here we have these Dragon Balls. It's kind of a shame that they literally were just like, yeah, we're just going to cut in half 2 halves of glass spheres and then stuck them together for the Dragon Balls. Kind of a strange design choice if you ask me. But here's what's really interesting about this figure. So as somebody notes here, is that a speaker? You can see on the front of the figure here, on the front of this base, there is a little section where there's these slits that look to be speakers, and we can confirm that by heading over to the official Tamashii Nation's website and taking a look at the figure pictures here. So yeah, as you can see, Dende definitely looks like he maybe just has that extra head and hands, and definitely Porunga only has articulation on his arms and on his head a little bit. So here's what's interesting about this, right? We obviously have the full, you know, like sort of product insert, like, oh, wow, look how cool it is. But this is actually super interesting, right? So we have Porunga's titanic size, accentuated by dramatic posability and optional hands that let you recreate your favorite scenes, and optional head and hands for Dende let you capture his summoning pose. Yeah, so that is what that is. And interesting. So I guess it's... what, open palm hands, and oh, they actually give you closed fist and they give you the okay hand. That's really cool. I like that a lot. Yeah, I was seeing the fists and the open palm hands, but I actually did not even see that okay hand till now, so that's pretty cool. So here's what's really interesting about this figure. The sculpting, colors, posability of SH figure arts combined with sounds and light up features. So yes, it seems that the Dragon Balls actually light up. A NFC reader is built into the stand, and Porunga and Dende are tagged with chips. Place Dende atop the stand and the 7 Dragon Balls will illuminate, recreating the dramatic scene of his summoning. And the set includes many recorded lines from both characters that you can play back as well. The set contains Porunga, did they really spell that wrong on their own website? That's pretty bad. Left hand and 2 optional right hands for Porunga. Interesting. A set of optional hands for Dende. Optional head for Dende. The second Namekian Dragon Balls. The Porunga stand. The Dragon Ball stand. And 3 Type 3 batteries sold separately. Are they not included then if they say sold separately? I guess so. So yeah, how I'm assuming that this works is that if you're unfamiliar with how NFC readers, not NFT by the way, NFC, completely different, they basically work exactly like Amiibo is a great way to give you an example, or Skylanders is another good example, right? You basically scan the chip onto whatever base has the reader, and then the base will react depending on what you place on the NFC reader. So it's pretty cool. So yeah, it seems like that depending on what you put on the base and depending on how you have all of the pieces assembled here, it will recreate lights and sounds from the series, which is pretty cool if you ask me, honestly. Now, there is one big downside, and I did mention that this was a little bit of a controversial figure. By the way, if you are curious, he is going to be releasing in December, and he's going to be about 288 millimeters, if you want to convert that into whatever measurement you use. So, this is what is a little bit of the... tension in the figure collecting community right now. So, as you can see, this is the promo image for Porunga here. He is apparently going to be for sale on Premium, Bandai, or Tamashii web shop in Japan. The set will come with Porunga and Dende and the Dragon Balls, and of course the piece of Namek. Porunga will be 11 inches tall in height, which is about a foot, obviously, so pretty decent sized figure. But, oh, mama, ladies and gentlemen, 28,600 yen if you are unfamiliar, you can basically do the yen to USD conversion if you basically take the decimal place 2 forward. So it's about 286 yen. Now, that's a lot more accurate on the lower end of yen to USD. It's definitely a little bit more when it comes to higher priced items like this. And you can see that the Big Bad Toy Store has announced pre-orders for this man for 300 smackaroonies. That's right. This is a $300 figure, ladies and gentlemen, making this easily the most expensive SH Figure Arts figure to date. The homie Shinra, who writes the articles for DBZFigures.com, sorry for that firework outside, by the way, notes that this is by far the most SH, the most SH Figure Arts figure, but of course the most expensive SH Figure Arts figure, with Shinron being close to 10,000 yen, about $100, and Azaru Vegeta being close to around 13,200 yen. I can't read, apparently. Dragon Ball fan moment. Crazy that Porunga is basically like 2 times ish the amount that the most current expensive SH Figure Arts figure is, of course, being Azaru Vegeta. Premium Bandai USA does not have this up yet, but I will be updating once it's available for pre-order. With the astronomical price for this figure, let me know in the comments if you plan to order. I really need to make an account on this website because I want to, like, comment on some of these posts for sure. But I am curious what you guys have to say about this one. This is certainly going to be an interesting figure for a lot of people. Obviously, $300 is a lot to ask for a figure. I myself am honestly not sure. I think it's really cool. I definitely like the lights and sounds gimmick, but that definitely seems like what this is to me, a gimmick to justify making this figure a lot more expensive. Because keep in mind, regular Shinron is only $100, and again, it doesn't come with the base like this. I think it has a little thing for the Dragon Balls, maybe, and it comes with the Dragon Balls, I'm pretty sure. I don't have the figure, so I'm not sure. But it doesn't come with the Namek base. It doesn't come with, obviously, another character, right? And the Dragon Balls don't light up or make sounds or, you know, all that stuff. But it definitely feels like that they did that to try and justify charging this much for the figure. That's just my opinion, obviously. Definitely let me know what you think of that in the comment section below. I'll be curious if people are going to get it. I already want to get the Ichiban Kuji Porunga. I've been trying to get that figure for so long, so I don't know if I'm going to cop this guy. I'll have to see. I haven't really collected a lot of the Namek figures anyway. Like, if I was a Namek completionist for SH Figure Arts, I would maybe get this, but I'm not sure, bro. That's definitely a tough one for me. Alright, so we did have the announcement of SDCC 2022 will be having a special Dragon Ball exhibition, which is very cool. If you're unfamiliar, SDCC is San Diego Comic-Con. San Diego Comic-Con happens every single year around this time of year, and we always get some crazy exclusive Dragon Ball figures, as well as some general Dragon Ball news. Obviously, it will be in LA, or it will be, in San Diego, rather. I was reading the thing in the bottom. It happens after Anime Expo, which we do get a little bit of anime news there, usually. So that'll be from July 21st to the 24th, with preview night on the 20th. So we do know the exclusive figures that I'm going to tell you in a minute, but I will tell you that figure news after that video will probably be pretty hefty. In fact, on the last day of SDCC will actually be on the date that that figure news video should be going up. So we should get a lot of cool information from SDCC. Now, speaking of which, we actually have all the information of the products that are going to be available at SDCC 2022 for Dragon Ball, which is pretty cool. This is apparently what the booth is going to look like, the superhero booth, which is super cool. Obviously, if you're familiar with the movie or the trailers, you will know that this is the thing in the Red Ribbon Army base where they look at the targets, basically. And obviously, we have Figure Arts jumbo versions of all the SH Figure Arts superhero figures here, which is really cool. So I hope it actually looks like that. I'm sure we'll get some pictures. I don't know if it's actually going to look like this. If it really does, that will be kind of sick. I'm not going to lie. But yeah, this is some pretty cool stuff here. But yeah, so it'll have all of these, basically, at the Dragon Ball booth. Tamashii Nations, Dragon Ball Super card game, Dragon Stars, Fighters, Kakarot, Breakers, Legends, Dokkan, Figure Eye Standard, Bam Presto, Ichiban Kuji, Ichiban Show, Gashapon, and Dragon Ball Advert. So much stuff. So we'll get a ton of information for a lot of Dragon Ball stuff that weekend, but obviously we're concerned with the figure stuff. This is also a pretty cool little thing. To everyone who's going to be going, they'll get stickers. To everyone who takes a photos at the Dragon Ball Breakers photo spot, they'll be getting a Breaker sticker. And anybody who downloads the Dokkan Battle app or shows their player rank will get a sticker. Either they will get one of the anniversary LRs or the giveaway character, which is super cool. By the way, if anybody is going to SDCC and you could pick one of these up for me, I will literally love you forever. Hit me up in DMs, please. I will respond to you. Serious inquiries only. Moving on. They are giving away a superhero lanyard, which is pretty cool, as well as a Comic-Con swag bag. This can actually clip on your back, which is pretty cool, and a paper fan with the SH Figure Arts figures on it. As well, a Piccolo and Ultimate Gohan headband, which is pretty funny. Piccolo will be at the Dragon Ball booth and the Crunchyroll booth, and the Gohan hair will be at the special booth and the superhero booth. As well, you can also get a badge ribbon from stopping at these different places, which is pretty cool. You can get it attached to your badge. Now, here's what we are concerned with when it comes to figure news, and don't worry, I'm going to show you pictures of all these guys. So, these are going to be the event exclusive SH Figure Arts figures for this year. Let's go ahead and actually take a look at the individual images here. So this, by the way, is just a little promo image. I wanted to make sure I showed you this because this looked pretty cool. But we have the individual tweets about everything here. I'm actually going to skip over Baggy's tweet because I know that Tamashii Nations tweeted out. So we have the SDCC 2022 exclusive SH Figure Arts Shinron. How appropriate that this figure is getting re-released right when Porunga is getting released. This is pretty cool because not only is this figure, I believe, a little bit rare, and kind of hard to find and sort of expensive nowadays, if memory serves. My SH Figure Arts knowledge in terms of prices and rarity is not as good as my prize figure and Kuji knowledge, but I believe that is the case with this guy. I think I've only ever seen him once in person, but it is cool because for the SDCC exclusive version, they'll be releasing this guy with pearl coloring, which basically means that he's shiny. As you can see, he definitely looks very, very shiny, whereas the colors on the original were very matte. A very matte finish for this guy. He looks pretty cool. I mean, it's definitely a little bit of a weird one. I know that this figure has always been a little bit weird because it's so hard to make a posable Shinron figure because obviously he's so long and lanky, right? But it is cool that for SDCC exclusives, I would much rather them re-release older figures and make them a little bit easier to get than you do like completely new stuff, because the thing is, right, a lot of the time with these SDCC figures, you could only get them if you're at the event, which obviously not everybody is going to be able to go to the event to get these, or you're just going to have to get them online. Now, that being said, some of the con exclusive figures, I believe they were from last year, like SSBK, right? They were available on Premium Bandai and a couple of other places. So potentially we could be seeing these figures at other stores as well. That being said, let's move on to the next figure, which is the SDCC 2022 Android 16. We did just get the re-release, I think a year or two ago, of the Androids, and I believe it was the event exclusive versions, the 18 and 17. So it makes sense that 16 would be getting a re-release. I don't really know what makes this one special in terms of the SDCC version, if he comes with accessories or stuff like that. But these pictures are literally all we have right now. If we go back to the official Dragon Ball website, if you click on it, it's literally just this. Oh, okay, I see. So it is the information a little bit. It is a release in a coloring, so you can line up with the 17 and 18 exclusive color version. Okay, yeah. From 2020, see? I do remember that from a couple years ago. So the color is a little bit different. I see. Which makes sense, because usually when they do these, it's meant to just be a re-release, but they have to make it different a little bit, so they change the color a little bit. Yeah, Shinron, we know, is the Pearl version. And then moving on, sorry if you can hear those fireworks again, by the way, we have the Majin Buu SDCC 2022 exclusive from Dragon Ball Z. Wow, those fireworks are going crazy. Sorry, I got my window open because it's so hot right now where I'm at. Anyway, the coloring that more closely reflects the anime series, which is really cool. I am definitely very excited for this figure. We do not get Fat Boo figures nearly enough. The only Fat Boo figure that we've gotten in recent time is, I believe, the upcoming Villain Kuji has the last one Boo. One of the upcoming Kujis has a last one figure for Boo. But we literally never get Majin Buu figures, so I definitely want to get my hands on this. I would absolutely love to get this figure in hand. Yeah, so it seems that it is just a recolor, right? It more closely reflects the anime series. This is a really cool figure too, because obviously the technology that they needed to implement to make this guy work, considering he's so big, is pretty wild. And as well, it is still a little bit weird the way that they did his legs, but I don't really know how they would have done that otherwise. And the final figure that you've probably seen a couple of times. Wait, this isn't the final figure. There it is. I guess we were just looking at memes for some reason. The SDCC Super Saiyan 2 Goku, which is partially remodeled for the event exclusive version. Now, here's what really stinks about this figure. This figure's awesome. And I know you're probably going, wait, what? Here's the thing that's so unfortunate about this, right? We just got the Super Saiyan Goku that is supposed to be like full power Goku. And I gotta say, the hair on that guy and the overall sculpt, besides, obviously the things I'm gonna point out in a second, are very similar to this guy. So it is a little bit frustrating that they released that one and then they release a Super Saiyan 2 Goku that's kind of similar, right? When I'm sure that people probably would have just got this and then not really needed a quote-unquote full power Super Saiyan Goku figure. I don't know, maybe I'm just not looking at them closely enough. The hair sculpt is different and the body sculpt is a little bit different. There are some different face sculpts as well, but I feel like the hair sculpts are so similar that you could get away with calling one or the other. But I am actually really excited for this because I really like Super Saiyan 2. Super Saiyan 3 is my personal favorite transformation. However, Super Saiyan 2 does not get enough merch love ever. So it is so cool to be seeing some actual Super Saiyan 2 merch. It seems like that this guy is obviously going to come with these, you know, various different face plates. You can see as well his gi is a little bit tattered here, which is pretty cool. It's a little bit out of place, I will say, because I would have almost liked more battle damage on the figure overall, rather than just having it in that little spot, right? You can see it a little bit better here. It would have, I felt like, flow better if they would have had the entire figure have battle damage rather than that one section, but I do definitely like it. The Super Saiyan 2 hair sculpt also looks really, really good. I like the very sharp spikes. The bang looks very nice, and it is cool that there is a halo included. If you're familiar with the Super Saiyan 3 Goku from the SH Figure Arts line, you can actually plug in the halo into that figure and take it out as you please. So if you want a Halo version of Super Saiyan 3 Goku, or obviously here, Super Saiyan 2 Goku, you can get that. It also looks like, this is really interesting, so the electricity seems to be, it kind of looks like it's connected to Goku in these shots, but the more that I look at this, and the more that I see this figure, I think it's kind of implied that it connects to this power-up piece, and I believe that this piece should come with this, because a lot of the time when they do these like power up SDCC figures, like SSBK, I think came with an effect piece similar to this. I'm assuming you're getting this in here, and that's also how they can raise the price a little bit more, right? So either way, those are the SDCC exclusive figures for this year. I am actually probably the most excited for Goku and Boo. I really want to get them. Again, if anyone is going to be at SDCC and can pick these up for me, please let me know. Serious inquiries only. DM me on Twitter. I will definitely be on the lookout. But yeah, that is basically what we have for the figures here. These are some more angles, by the way. I'm not sure where Baggy got these pictures from, but these are some angles. I'm assuming the figure is on display somewhere, and that's where these pictures are from. I actually really like this face sculpt. I think it looks better, funny enough, than in the promotional images. Yes, as we can see here, these definitely connect to this effect piece here. You can see it a little bit there, and then especially from the side, you can tell that they like plug in and sort of like wrap around him, which is a really interesting way to do this sort of thing. But yeah, definitely let me know what you think of the SDCC exclusives for this year. I am pretty excited about these bad boys. Now, don't worry. I know it seems like that we're not very far through all these, but I promise you most of these tweets are just like, we read it and then we're done. These were all the things that we're going to be spending a little bit more time on anyhow. All right, so Bardock, Blood of Saiyans, Volume 12. We talked about this guy in the last figure news. He is now available on Big Bad Toy Store for $26.99. Again, unfortunately, the regular prize figures for the West have gone up in price over the years. They went from 20 to 21. Now they're at 27. It's kind of unfortunate, but it just seems to be the way that things are. This guy is also 7.1 inches, and he will be releasing in December 2022. So this is pretty cool. We had the Jump Calendar figure release for July 2022. Basically, in the Jump Calendar, we got the releases for all of these different figures and stuff here. This list for July has some figures for the superhero movie and some other random figures, so check out below the pre-order if you haven't already done so. The figure that stands out is the Figuarts Zero Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, which, by the way, we're going to talk about that figure a little bit later in the video. But obviously, we have the Superhero Kuji, which is 730 yen a try. The acrylic Gashapon DBS Superhero Acrylic Charm. We talked about these last time as well. These brand new great posing Gashapon figures. The Dragon Ball Aligns Tambourine. This thing is obviously a figure that was announced a fat minute ago. And this is this pretty expensive Dragon Ball figure line. As you can see, he's going to be 16,000 yen, which is pretty crazy. Vegeta, well, I'm looking at Vegeta down there. GOGETA is going to be around 80 bucks, it seems, yen-wise. We have also taken a look at this guy in the past, and again, we will talk a little bit more about him later in the video. Clear Eyes Vegeta, 27 bucks, August 2022. Blood of Saiyans, Volume 11 Gohan. He's going to be releasing August 2022, and you can see he is also going to be $29. That is the... No, that is the English release date. Okay, or the overseas release date. Matchmakers, Goku, and Piccolo. We actually have some final images of these guys later. Very excited for this figure. By the way, of course, the over-counter release of the Dragon Ball Superhero Gohan. We will have an actual release date for this guy in a little bit, too. This was the other huge piece of news that I really wanted to talk about here. So... we had the announcement of the next Ichiban Kuji, and that, of course, is the 4th mission Super Dragon Ball Heroes Kuji. I'm sure by this first promo image here, you're probably like, what? This is a very interesting one, ladies and gentlemen, so buckle in. Ichiban Kuji has announced her next lineup of figures under the Dragon Ball Superhero, or the Dragon Ball Superhero. It's so hard not to mix them up. I'm sorry. The Super Dragon Ball Heroes moniker, starting in November 2022, 730 yen per try for this Kuji. And obviously, we will update if they get any of these guys. These probably will not come overseas. Last time we had to import these from Japan because usually the West does not get these superhero Kujis. But we do have the full Kuji list here, and we are actually going to open this in a new tab so we can take a proper look at these. So, of course, the A prize is this fantastic looking Super Saiyan 3 Rosé mask. I know a lot of people were fiending for a Super Saiyan 3. I guess this may technically be, does he have eyebrows? I can't tell. This may be full power Rosé. It's hard. Oh no, it says 3 right there. Okay, I'm tripping. This is Super Saiyan 3 Rosé. Obviously, it's a little bit confusing because Full Power Rosé also has the same hair as Super Saiyan 3 Rosé. But yes, this is Super Saiyan 3 Rosé masked. Very, very cool. We also have the Warrior in Black, which is really, really cool. This is definitely a very, very nice figure. Obviously, this guy is a huge player in the most recent Heroes arc, so it is really cool to see him get a figure. Definitely did not expect my man to get a figure, but definitely excited about it because this is just a super cool design for Goku. Regardless of whether you care about what it means in the context of Heroes, this is just a super sick design for this character. So here's where things may get a little bit for some of you. And I will also talk a little bit more about these two guys in a second here. So we have the C and D prize, this being the full power Limit Breaker Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Vegeta for the C and D prize respectively. And there are a couple of interesting things to note here. For one, we already have a full power Limit Breaker Super Saiyan 4 Goku figure in the last Heroes Kuji. I still need to pick that up for myself. I really like the look of that figure, and obviously that figure is just a reused version of the Greatest Saiyan figure. This looks really awkward, I'm not going to lie. Goku's face looks really awkward here, and Vegeta also looks a little bit awkward. He doesn't look terrible by any means. He definitely doesn't look as awkward as Goku. I think Goku's power-up pose doesn't have enough oomph, and the expression makes him look like he almost has like a snout? I don't know. It looks a little bit weird for sure. But the interesting thing to note about Vegeta, and I'm not sure if this is just the promotional materials fumbling the bag, because this would feel like a really big detail to forget, but he doesn't have a tail. And now that I think about it, neither does Goku. So I'm really hoping that the final figures don't have that, because obviously the Super Saiyan 4s have tails. So that's going to be interesting to see if the figure persists like that. Vegeta does look pretty cool, though. Obviously, we did not have a Kuji Limit Breaker Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta up until this point. I might actually cop this guy just because I do want to get that other Limit Breaker Super Saiyan 4 Goku, and I do have the Limit Breaker Super Saiyan 4 Vegito as well, so it'd be cool to get both of them. Now, here's where things really start going downhill, ladies and gentlemen. We have the Prize E and the last one, Prize Gogeta. This is kind of a weird one. So the Prize E is normal Xeno Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. What's really weird about this is the color for the shoulder pads is really off. It's supposed to be a lot more yellow, like a lot more of a gold yellow than this quite literal lime green. I actually have a normal Super Saiyan 4 Xeno Gogeta figure from a Kuji that was the last one prize a fat minute ago from an SDBH Kuji, and I really like that figure. But the coloring is definitely off. It looks a lot more accurate on the Limit Breaker version, which is the last one. But this pose is really awkward, and the facial expression is also really awkward from both of these angles. Now, here is the reason why I'm telling you that these figures are a little bit awkward, and I mean just besides in general to keep you informed. Yeah, so this is pretty insane, ladies and gentlemen. These figures are very, very, very reused from a bunch of different figures, and it's going to get worse in a second here. So obviously this Gogeta here on the right is from the Kuji that had the Omega Shinron in it, right? And also like the Cell and the full power Trunks. It's literally the same figure with his eyes just looking up, which is not great. The Goku is just a retool of the Kuji from last year, which is also weird because this guy is a reuse of another figure. And no wonder why it looks so awkward, because they just make his arms look, you know, like he's powering up, basically. This figure looks so much better. This is the one that I still want to get, that I don't have at the moment. And Super Saiyan 3 Rosé quite literally uses the same body as the original Masked Rosé. The only difference is that they changed his arm up a little bit, and they definitely re-sculpted the actual face, because the eye shape is a little bit different, and the mask is also a slight bit different. So how this gets even worse, if you're curious. Oh, wait, I swear I have the tweet. Well, either way, the fact that these figures... Oh, yeah, and then here. So this Vegeta is reused from the Super Saiyan 4 one from the Greatest Saiyan Kuji, which, again, that's what the Super Saiyan 4 Goku is reused from, the Kuji that this Vegeta is from. And that's why this guy looks so awkward, because they just retooled him up a little bit. It's the exact same face, the same basic sculpt, and they just took the pieces from this. So it's a real shame, honestly, that this has become a very consistent trend with these SDBH figures. Why this is the case, I am honestly not sure. If I had to take a gander, I think the reason why, we'll keep this one on the screen as I'm discussing this here. If I had to guess, the reason why is because I assume that the Super Dragon Ball Heroes figures don't sell super well. I know that when I've seen like order numbers and stuff like that, from like Baggy's Twitter talking about like, you know, consumer interest and that type of thing, it seems like that these figures are never the most popular thing in the world. Which is definitely a bit of a shame, because obviously these forms are cool, but of course, you know, people in Japan are mainly the ones that are going to be interested in them. That's why they don't usually get imported. And nonetheless, I guess Bandai must think, oh, well, because, you know, we just need a Kuji for this time slot and we can make a quick buck off of these, you know, Dragon Ball Heroes figures, they do stuff like this, which is really unfortunate. And this is not a new problem, by the way. I'm going to scooch this tweet in right here. Unfortunately, right, I'll actually scooch this here. Again, this is not really a new issue, and I'm sure a lot of you have seen us talk about this type of thing. But obviously, Bandai has been doing this a ton lately, where they've been reusing different pieces from different sculpts, rather than making whole new figures, which is just a bit of a shame, right? So it just sort of comes to a epitome with the SDBH figures, because like this is like, okay, you could argue that these are just like they're doing different color variations or the different head sculpts, but like reusing the legs from here and then reusing the top for this guy, and it's just kind of all over the place, right? And it's crazy because other animes don't really do this sort of thing. It's just Dragon Ball, so it is really a shame that, you know, it's sort of come to this, unfortunately. But let me know what you think of the SDBH Kuji in the comments section below. I would definitely love to hear your opinion on it. I am probably going to get the Super Saiyan 3 Rose, the Warrior in Black, and maybe the Vegeta. The problem is, there isn't like a really great Xeno Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta figure. The only other one is, I think, the 9th anniversary one, and even so, I didn't really like how the finals looked on that one. So, we'll see what ends up becoming of that one, for sure. Alright, moving on. The solid Edgeworks Goku Black Japanese release case ratios. Overseas, there's going to be 36 of each of them. In Japan, it looks like it is going to be a base form 14 and then Rose 22 split for these guys. For the Sega Game Station numbers, again, if you're unfamiliar, different arcades in Japan obviously carry these figures. So seeing the number of orders that these arcades order is a good way to see the popularity and gauge that for these different figures. Crazy that Gohan 193, Matchmaker's Goku 185, Matchmaker's Piccolo 159. Weird that they wouldn't have them equal, but I mean, I guess more people probably want Goku. Clear Rise Vegeta 11. These are per store, by the way. Obviously, like Baggy notes, there's 196 stores, so this is like to each individual store, right? This is the highest Sega ordered. Have ordered any Dragon Ball prize figured, and I've been keeping track since 2018. That's crazy. Gohan with the W. You love to see it. The Gohan hype is absolutely real right now because of the movie, of course. This was something I was very excited to show you all. The Ultimate Gohan is going to be releasing the 16th in Japan. I know a lot of people are really excited for this figure. I cannot wait for this guy to come over stateside. I will be reviewing him as soon as I get him. I cannot wait to pair him on the shelf with my Piccolo. Super exciting. The OG DB Collection BBS release and the OG Dragon Ball Ichiban show is starting to release now in Europe. And here is the packaging. Very cool. So if you're in Europe, keep an eye out for these figures if you are interested in picking up these OG Dragon Ball figures. Very excited for the Dragon Ball Kuji when that comes over to the West too. So this is interesting. I brought this tweet here because I just thought that this would be something interesting to mention. Not necessarily figure related, I suppose, but So Trends listed a bunch of generic superhero stuff last week, then delisted them. Now the secrets get revealed this week. So here's what's interesting, right? We have so much stuff planned, I can't really deal if we're stuck with the same reused art as the Japanese marketing. So this is going to be interesting to see. Apparently, this is all planned. Dragon Ball Super Hero overseas merch. Posters, calendars, bookmarks, mobile wallets. I don't even know what that means. Writing instruments, pencils and pens, decals, drinkware, homewares, t-shirts, shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, outerwear, pants, shorts, bags, headwear, rugs, blankets, skateboards, inflatables, keychains, shirts, fashion cut, don't know what that means, sew tops, bottoms, leggings, sleepwear, vests, jackets, joggers, headwear. Didn't we say? Oh, I think you put headwear there twice by accident. Bags and accessories. I don't know how much of this merch I will be covering because obviously, you know, I try to stay focused on figure stuff. But since this is Dragon Ball Superhero hype time, I did want to cover a little bit of this. And I thought that this would just be something interesting to cover. So let me know in the comments section below if you are going to pick up any of this stuff or you would be interested in any superhero merch like that. I just wanted to show this image on the screen for 2 seconds because I think it's just so funny. Look at all the Gokus. We have the Japanese market value of Mayan shoe is about 17,000 yen and peel off about 16,000 yen. So make sure you get the Ichiban shows ASAP before Japanese folks start to reverse import. Yeah, which is kind of a crazy thing that happens, right? Because it depends with different Kujis, right? Kujis that are really popular in Japan, they end up being more expensive in Japan than they are here in the West with how much the Ichiban Kujis cost just to buy the figure outright. So Japanese people will import them from the States because it's cheaper to import them than to buy them in the Japanese market, while vice versa happens when Kujis that the West doesn't get, or Kujis that are really expensive in the West, which is basically a more modern problem, which I'm going to make a whole video on that eventually, talking about that whole thing. But we obviously import them from Japan because it's cheaper that way. So kind of funny how the turntables have turned in that regard. Now that they've started a US-specific Ichiban Kuji Twitter and Facebook page, I think it's officially RIP Affordable Kuji Figures in the West. Yeah, so if you're unaware, before I show you the other thing that Baggy's talking about here, basically the prices of Ichiban Kuji figures have severely gone up as of recent. Usually the $36 mark was the most recent current price for most figures, and for bigger figures in Ichiban show like Master Lies Extra, it would be around 50 bucks. Unfortunately, now that is not the case, and we now have prices skyrocketing a lot more for like 50 bucks for a basic figure. So this may be the last Ichiban Kuji set with reasonable pricing, unfortunately, as well, by the way. This is something else to mention here. I hope I'm putting this in the right slot. I am. The Ichiban Kuji, I guess, just group of people, or, well, I guess it's, you know, it's under the Bandai company. You know what I'm trying to say. Ichiban Kuji has a official Twitter account now, which I will say is a little bit strange because obviously in the States and overseas it's called Ichiban Show. So you would think that they would call this Ichiban Show rather than Ichiban Kuji, because you can't buy Ichiban Kuji tickets in the States unless they are planning on doing that in the future. They did have at Anime Expo, actually, you could go in and play different Ichiban Kujis and win some different prizes. I know one of my homies who was at Anime Expo, the homie Loaf, actually played the Kuji for a couple of different anime series. So who knows? Maybe this could be a sign that they're bringing it to the US. But I mean, probably not, just because this is sort of similar to the time when they brought the Super Dragon Ball Heroes like actual physical card game to Anime Expo a couple years ago, and that didn't really go anywhere, unfortunately. It was just like a, hey, look how cool this is in Japan, you know, but we're gonna let you get a taste of it here in the States. So that's basically the long and the short of it there. But definitely go follow the official Ichiban Kuji USA Twitter account. I don't even know how I found this, because this account is obviously so small, but this is the official Twitter account now for Ichiban Kuji US. So we had the July BSP initial store number orders. Gohan 594. My boy Gohan is killing it on these streets. You love to see it. Matchmakers Piccolo 455. Goku 412. Vegeta 286. Gohan should end up around 800. Wow, that is crazy. Because again, keep in mind, these are initial store orders. That's crazy. That's absolutely insane. Gohan is decimating the game right now. So, by the way, this was a little piece of information. We eventually did find this out, but the superhero Shinron is currently selling for 30,000 yen pre-listings, which is absolutely insane. Obviously, we do not get the last one prizes over here in the States. The only time we did, funny enough, was with this guy for Dragon Ball, which was the Golden Ozaru. I actually have that on my shelf. I love that figure a lot. And I believe we did find out that it was a box later on. If that tweet is not included in here, it was box packaging. So harder to import than the Ozaru, which was basically just like in a bag, essentially. This was also something that I just wanted to point out real quick. This is what the Matchmakers Goku and Piccolo is based off of. It's literally based off of this piece of art on the box. Obviously, this is Baggy's thread of all the different like references for stuff here, but super cool that they actually straight up just reference the manga panel. I really like that a lot. So we have some higher quality images of the July upcoming Gashapon with these bad boys. Again, very interesting for these guys. Definitely going to be curious to see how these look IRL for sure. This was also, again, something else that isn't really figure news, but I definitely wanted to show it. Obviously, here we have the brand new acrylic charms for the superhero merch here, and no new art, but these do look quite interesting. I will be curious to see how these look. These are basically just keychains, so I don't know. It would be cool to maybe get one of these on eBay or something and just stick it on your keys for sure. Okay, so this is very interesting. Obviously, since I put the Dragon Ball Heroes Kuji stuff with the post from DBZ Figures, I'm not going to talk about it too much here, and I'll stop saying stuff like that by giving you notes in the future, by the way, just since this is the second figure news video on this channel. I'm trying to, you know, kind of give you the lowdown of things, right? So this is also interesting. Apparently, we are getting a Dragon Ball Superhero DXF Gohan. And it is going to be a Super Saiyan Gohan, apparently. This is going to be an upcoming prize figure. What I am assuming that they're going to do is they're going to take the Ultimate Gohan that we have at the moment, and they are literally just going to change the hair color to Super Saiyan, which is, I mean, kind of unfortunate because that's sort of treading along Retsuden lines, but I guess it'll be another chance to get this figure if you want him. India is apparently also going to get the OG Dragon Ball Matchmakers, which is pretty cool. Apparently not getting OG DB prize figures before from India, which I'm not sure why that's the case, but very interesting there. So if you're watching this from India, there you go. These will be available for you to purchase in your country, which is awesome. This was also kind of a bit of a shame. Y'all know that I'm not the biggest fan of the Cupid Socket line, but Fidel has been absolutely decimating it with her figure sales this year. And obviously, it is a bit of a shame that we are not getting every single one, because as you can see, this figure is not going to come over in the West, which is really weird too, because I will say I have seen the Cupid Socket figures in like normal stores or like at the mall and stuff, and people seem to buy them. So I don't know. You would think people would want Fidel. Very interesting. Yeah, here we go. Here's the tweet about Shinron. This is what his box looked like. So if you're trying to import this guy, good luck, because it's going to be pretty expensive to import this bad boy. This is also a pretty cool picture here. Just wanted to show you this. This is what the Ichiban Kuji looks like at a store, where you obviously go in and get the tickets, and then whatever ticket you get, of course, you get one of these prizes. So it's pretty cool to see the little stand there, and obviously the different prizes that you can get with the figures and all the little mini prizes and stuff like that. So this was also interesting. I believe we saw a couple of pictures of this guy last time, but we have a ton of really great pictures of the prize A from the superhero Kuji. Obviously, this being the Ultimate Gohan that people were pretty excited for. This is what he ended up looking like in the end here. I'm not sure how I feel about this guy, to be 100% honest with you. I don't think that he looks bad, necessarily. This is definitely not, like, a figure that screams to me, like, ew, gross, because I've definitely taken a look at some figures like that before. This is also... Ooh, we'll take a look at that in a second. Actually, no, we'll skip to this one first, since this had a bunch of them. But this is definitely a little bit of an odd one for me, because I definitely think, especially in some of these pictures, right, like this one especially, it's set, his hair looks extremely long from some angles, like almost ridiculously long. It almost looks like Gohan Beast levels of long. So I don't really know how to feel about that. And as well, I will say in a lot of these shots, right, let's go back to the front one here. His face feels a little bit too, like, elongated. I feel like maybe his face should be a little bit farther up, like, the surface of his face, if that makes sense. I don't know. His face definitely feels a little bit too far down, which is just a very weird phenomenon, if I'm being honest. But he definitely doesn't look too bad. We also have some other figures from the Kuji here. This person ended up getting... Ooh, look, they have the OG Dragon Ball Kuji back there. They got the Gohan, the Piccolo, the Pan, and the Gamma 1 and 2. As you can see here, Pan is super small. I think that's very out of scale as well. Keep in mind, for Ichiban Show, that Pan right there is a $45 figure for that size. Are you kidding me? That's disgusting, bro. Now... it is interesting because obviously then they're not doing that scale properly either. I would say Gamma 2 and Gamma 1 and Gohan are maybe about the same scale. Piccolo also is obviously leaning over, so it's a little bit harder to tell, but he definitely looks like if he stood up straight, he would end up being the correct size. And this person ended up getting also the LO Shinron, and this looks really good. There is definitely another Shinron that I would prefer to get over this guy for sure, but if you are trying to get a Ichiban Kuji Shinron figure, this is definitely not a bad choice. However, he is a little bit small for probably how much you're going to have to import him for. We did also get this picture right here, which we have Pan next to Gamma 2 here. As you can see, Pan is tiny. Look at this, is in this person's hands. This is a good idea of scale here. This is a $45 figure for Ichiban Show. I definitely wanted to get this Pan when I initially saw it, but not for that size, for that price, ladies and gentlemen. That is abysmal. And to top it all off, I will say, when it comes to her face, I am actually not really a fan. I kind of don't like the way that it ended up looking. I'm not exactly sure what is wrong with it or why I don't like it. Maybe her eyes are a little bit too far apart. I don't know, but it definitely doesn't look as good as the original promotional images, if I do say so myself. But yeah, super tiny figure. It's going to be even smaller, I think, than the like Saiyan Saga Ichiban Kuji Gohan, which is pretty crazy because he's already pretty small. Here is a good comparison of her right next to Gohan as well. Again, super tiny figure. It is cool seeing both of them next to each other. That's a great angle of Gohan, and we'll say the figure looks super nice from that angle. And oh, this was another picture that I definitely wanted to show. This is a comparison between the Kuji Gohan and the DXF Gohan. Obviously, this is the prize figure that we took a look at last time. He comes on the Dragon Ball Superhero stem. So obviously, the Kuji figure is going to be bigger, and DXF figures tend to be a little bit on the smaller side as it is. But Gohan is definitely a lot bigger than his DXF counterpart here. And I think that definitely both of these figures look pretty good. I will say I think I like the face and the hair sculpt on the DXF one more, or maybe I like the size of the Ichiban Kuji one. I don't mind small figures, but it definitely feels like you're getting a little bit more bang for your buck with a bigger figure rather than overpaying for a smaller figure, you know what I mean? Nonetheless, though, that is some pictures of the Dragon Ball Superhero Ichiban Kuji. We are now moving on to a little bit of pricing for them. So early listings for Ultimate Gohan have him just above 5,000 yen, which is about 50 bucks, by the way. Despite 2 per lot, while unsurprisingly, Goku and Vegeta are already below 5,000, which makes sense because obviously not many people are going to be trying to cop these figures. They were not prominent characters in the movie, and of course there's so many better Goku and Vegeta figures that you can get out there that also don't use reused parts. Crazily enough, though, Pan is apparently above 6,000 yen, which is crazy because that, think about that, with how small she is, she's literally, we saw those pictures, right? How small she was compared to Gohan, and she's even more expensive than him. I suppose that makes sense because obviously we have like all of one Pan figure maybe. So I suppose people are just, you know, feeding to get anything that they can with her. But crazy to think that people are paying that much for that smaller figure, right? The Gammas are being sold in pairs, presumably because otherwise sellers would have a hard time getting rid of Gamma 1. Obviously, if you watch the movie, Gamma 2 seems to be a little bit more of a fan favorite, and obviously he's a little bit more focused upon in the movie. Again, no spoilers from me. But makes sense because he's definitely a little bit more of the fan favorite character. Pan dropped below 6K and Goku before below 4K. Kuji hasn't even officially begun yet, and the lots, once more lots clear, these prices should go down even more. Gohan has dropped below 5K. Yeah, so that's what I'm talking about, right? I was talking about a little bit earlier in the video where it is a little bit cheaper sometimes to import from Japan rather than just buying the Ichiban show, because these figures are obviously going to be pretty expensive if you're trying to buy these in the West here. If you are unfamiliar, let me give you the quick little rundown on this. I'm opening this in an incognito tab, so then that way it doesn't literally just show my address on the screen. But I'll pop some pictures on the screen for you for how much these bad boys cost on Amazon. Trying to fit everything in the frame here. I apologize if the second picture is a little bit cramped. But you can see that Gohan's 60, Goku is 60, Vegeta's 55, Gamma 1 and 2 are 65, Pan is 45, and Piccolo is 65. So, with that being said, obviously, it's crazy that these figures are already under the Ichiban show prices, and this is what we were talking about a little bit earlier in the video, where the last Kuji that is probably going to have the just what we've known as pretty much the standard prices up until this point, which is 36 for normal size figures and then like 50 for the master size extra figures, is basically going away with the introduction of this new superhero set, where this seems to be the standard going forward even into the next Ichiban Kuji set. Moving on though, ironically enough, Gohan dropped even more during this time. As you can see, he is now half of the US Ichiban show's set price, which is crazy. Again, if you are going to want these figures, you're probably going to want to import them rather than buying them from the Ichiban Kuji. I myself may cop the Gohan and maybe the Gamma 1 and 2 if I can get them for cheap. I like the Gamma 1 and 2 figures, but they're just too expensive to justify, unfortunately. This is also another great comparison, by the way. This is the Heroes Ichiban Kuji Heroes, you know what I mean, Superhero Ichiban Kuji, next to the Grandista Ultimate Gohan. Obviously, this figure is a super popular one in the Dragon Ball figure collecting community, and you can see not just the sculpting detail and differences between the two, but obviously the Kuji figure is just a little bit shorter than the Grandista figure, which, by the way, this is a pretty crazy price comparison here. The Grandista figure, you can literally get this guy on Amazon right now for 25 bucks. That's right, 25 bucks. Insane that this figure is so cheap, but more than that, that should go to show you how ridiculous the Ichiban Kuji prices are and are getting, considering that a figure that is not only bigger, but I would say better quality in the Grandista Ultimate Gohan is that much cheaper. Literally, the prices are just so arbitrary, it's not even funny. I will do a full video at some point about figure pricing because it is just ridiculous. But this image right here, honestly, is the epitome of that. Very interesting, though, seeing these two next to each other for sure. So this was something else that was really interesting that happened in the last 2 weeks as well. So as you know, the Super Saiyan 4 GOGETA from the Dokkan Fest that is currently going on right now on Global, the 7th anniversary, is getting a Figuarts Zero figure. Obviously, the Figuarts Zero line is the figure line that has all of the crazy effect pieces on it, as you can see by this Gogeta. I took a look at the cooler on the original Dokkan Assets channel as well, and I really like that figure. But he is going to be coming out July 25th for Japan, which is weird that they don't release it like when the Japanese anniversary is in Japan, and it kind of releases when the global anniversary is happening. I don't know why they do that, but whatever. And then it is also going to be releasing in Asia the 25th as well, which, by the way, if you're curious, that basically means all other Asian countries besides Japan is what Baggy means whenever he says Asian releases, right? Now, what else is interesting about this is that Baggy mentions no Western release. However, what was so strange about this is that we recently got the global producer letter for Dokkan on the 6th, and I'm obviously not going to go through the video with you, but I talked about this in a tweet on the Dokkan Assets account, and it's interesting because in the dev letter, in all the different languages, they mention that this figure is going to be available. And what's interesting about this as well is that it says it's going to be on sale in local stores. So I don't know if that means that they're like switching up the release on us. Very, very strange. Obviously, it says here too that the indicated release date is based on the Japanese release schedule. So of course, you know, that is something to note, and kind of funny that like they show all of this, but then they're like, hey, parentheses, you can't actually buy it when it says you can buy it. Kind of goofy if you ask me, but I did tag Baggy on this, and this was quite interesting, honestly. He said that this is probably for Asia, again, like I was saying, you know, everywhere that's not Japan, and they're only the ones that have the listing, right? And incidentally, for a July release too, unless they add Western listings now, but that means a July release is impossible, as it would release near the end of the year. So unfortunately, it seems that this literally just means for everywhere else that is within Asia that's not Japan, unfortunately, is also going to get this figure. Now, what that does mean for us is that it will probably be a little bit easier to get our hands on, because that means there'll be more of them out in the wild and they won't be as rare. So that will be cool at least. Unfortunately, though, that does mean that if you want to cop this guy, you're probably going to have to import him. I may make a specific video about importing figures, and maybe I'll even make a video talking about this guy. I know I do want to do some figure content talking about places where you can buy figures and importing them and stuff like that in the future. So definitely know if you want me to do content like that for sure. But just thought that I would give you the sort of lowdown on this, because I thought that this was a very interesting set of circumstances. By the way, I did check the Tamashii website, which they say for more details, go on the website and search for Figuarts Zero Gogeta. I kid you not, there is literally no new information. It's basically just like the size of the figure and a couple of pictures that they showed in the video. There's no more information in regards to how the figure is being sold. So, whack. Anyhow, we did get some final images for the Matchmaker's OG Dragon Ball release. This is really, really cool, if I do say so myself. Even though the figures definitely look very soft in their sculpt, I feel like the edges aren't very, like, I don't want to say jagged, but like defined, so to speak. It kind of gives them a little bit of a cheaper look, although I will say they definitely don't look too bad. I think these are definitely some figures that you should consider adding to your collection for sure. It would be pretty cool, like Baggy says, if you were able to set them up like this. But I don't think with the way that the stands are, because obviously Piccolo is a lot taller than Goku, I don't think that you would actually be able to set them up like that. Maybe if you like 3D printed some stands. But the other thing is Piccolo's hand sort of extends out here, so I don't know if you would also be able to get it like that. I'm not sure, honestly. But these guys do look pretty cool, if I do say so myself. I think we have some other images of them as well. Here is a more clear image of Kid Goku, and wow, that is a very nice looking figure. I have a couple of Kid Goku figures already. I have the Bam Presto World Figure Coliseum Milk one and the Goku riding Nimbus, which I honestly wish I would have gotten the blue outfit for that one. I may sell the one that I have and then get the blue outfit someday, but this is definitely a very cool figure. I might consider getting this one if I do sell my orange Gi Nimbus one and replace it with the blue Gi Nimbus one, because then I would have this one and the Kuji one, and those would probably be my two like main orange Gi Goku figures. But yeah, it would be cool to get these for sure. I would definitely be down. They look very, very nice if I do say so myself. And I love the black Obi belt. I know that's Goku's design and not the figure, but it looks very nice on this figure for sure. Here is a high quality version of the Androids Ichiban Kuji poster. Obviously, we saw some of the final images for these guys last time. And very interesting, I actually didn't notice about this Kuji. Apparently, you can remove Dr. Giro's dome, and you can actually see the brain inside, which is pretty cool. Obviously, that is right out of the anime and the manga, so that's pretty cool. This is also a EX Kuji, which means it's a little bit more expensive than the, I believe, 730 yen that it usually is now, and this is an 850 yen Kuji. This was also pretty interesting. Gamma 2's Japanese market value is now less than $30. Insane. His Ichiban show price is $65 and will probably release in December. Importing also doesn't support the ridiculous Ichiban prices, or Ichiban show price, so it's a win-win. Yeah, I would say if you want to cop these guys, I would definitely recommend importing them for sure. It is ridiculous how expensive these guys are, all things considered. Definitely import these guys if you want to cop them. Here's the promotional poster for the Solid Edgeworks Gohan. Very, very cool looking poster. They've been killing it with the artwork for the Solid Edgeworks figures for a while now for sure. We do have some final images of these figures, which are pretty cool. Obviously, this is the BOS Gohan that we have been taking a look at throughout this entire video. He looks really good, actually. I don't know if I'll get this guy just because I already have a bunch of Super Saiyan 2 Gohan figures. I don't know how I went from like 1 to like 5. But I mean, I do kind of want this guy, so maybe I'll sort of exchange out some of the things that I have for that. Of course, we have the boys here, and then, of course, a little bit more of a close-up of Piccolo Daimao as well. We also have some pictures of the Gohans here, the boys, looking very, very nice. We have the Clear Eyes Vegeta, which, again, keep in mind, the whole thing with this gimmick is that you're supposed to shine a light from it. That's why the coloring looks so weird on not just his hair, but obviously on his body as well. It definitely looks a little bit strange. And I also think that the sculpt is just not the best for me personally. And obviously there we have a little bit of poster with all of them there, which is pretty cool. Alright, so this was also something pretty cool that I just wanted to note. Obviously, all of the Matchmakers figures have this sort of like duality thing going on where they have the text match up. And it's cool that on the packaging for the Goku, they actually kept the swirl. It's going to be exciting to see those two figures next to each other when I get them, hopefully. We'll have to put them next to each other when we get them. This is also, by the way, the assorted quality, or quantity rather, excuse me. Apparently it's going to be 14 for Super Saiyan 2 and 22 for Super Saiyan 1, which is interesting. I guess they realize that people probably are going to want to get the Super Saiyan 1 one more, which makes sense because obviously there's more Super Saiyan 2 Gohan figures out there. Final numbers for the, almost for the Matchmakers Kid Goku, excuse me, and Piccolo, 635 for Piccolo, and Kid Goku 598. Any more increases will be minor. This is actually much better than I was expecting. Teetering on the edge of the best-selling prize figures of this wheel. Crazy to think that, but I suppose that makes sense because obviously with the little bit of Dragon Ball stuff that we've been getting this year, OG Dragon Ball, of course, it is no surprise that obviously these figures are selling quite well. It does indeed look like, by the way, we talked about this last time, that the new movie Kuji was going to be delayed a little bit. And as you can see, the new release date in Japan seems to be August 4th. I know a lot of people, and I know in the comments of this tweet too, a lot of Japanese fans were pretty upset that it's not a little bit later in August, considering we have all those Kujis like packed right next to each other. But August 4th is the date for this one, and we had it officially confirmed by the website. Here is some more final images of the Super Saiyan 1 Gohan out of the box. This looks to be at an actual arcade. Definitely a very good looking figure. Again, I might consider copping this guy because I really don't have that many Super Saiyan 1 Gohan figures. I might get the Super Saiyan 2 one just because he does look so cool. But I don't know. I'm definitely debating copping this guy for sure. I'll have to see how I feel. He's definitely not high on the list. Here's the Super Saiyan 2 one if you're curious. He's definitely not too high on the list for copping, but if you don't have any Super Saiyan 2 Gohan figures, or Super Saiyan 1 for that matter, definitely a pretty good choice, for sure. We do have some out-of-the-packaging pictures via Devil Toyaki, or I literally cannot pronounce his name. Takoyaki. I think I've been saying that wrong this entire time. Here's what they look like out of the box. Obviously, these pictures are a little bit zoomed up, a little bit grainy, but you can get a general idea. These figures do look pretty cool, if I do say so myself. Again, it's a bit of a shame that these guys are going to be so expensive for the West, because I would have loved to get all these guys. Obviously, we do not get Dragon Ball villain figures enough, so to get all the androids in one slew would have been awesome, but it is what it is. We'll have to try and see if we can import them. The solid Edgeworks Gohan market value is going up. Gohan hype is unreal. Yeah, and we don't even have a Gohan Beast figure scheduled for this year. Look at all these prices in yen for this figure, which is pretty insane. Definitely might be worth copping and holding on to, honestly. Or at least maybe just reselling if you can get them for just a decent price normally. Here are the final photos for the Android Kuji. Obviously, we saw these guys on the shelf in the last video, but these are sort of the promotional final pictures, I guess you would call it, where they sort of have them in different poses. This is kind of like what I do in my videos. Obviously, I don't have like backgrounds and stuff like that, but they pose them with other figures, and I do this shot literally all the time. It's like they watch my videos, bro. But yeah, obviously, this is the last one prize with the, I think this is the last one prize Krillin and Gohan. That's what this Krillin is from, I'm pretty sure. Very, very cool. Definitely going to try and cop these. I will say 18 doesn't necessarily look the best. I think that 17 looks really good, and I think that these two look really good especially. Ironically enough, Jiroen 20 might be the best looking ones out of the bunch, which is pretty crazy to say. Solid Edgeworks Gohan is finally released in Asia. Unfortunately, 8 days too late, so likely unreleased. He'll be part of June prize figures when he releases in the West. Meaning not that he'll release in June, I believe, meaning that... Wait, no, I think so. No. I'm sorry. Yeah, this means the batch of the June prize figures, like the figures that released in June, I believe. No. I think this is the West date in June. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm tripping myself up here. It wouldn't be a figure news video without me fumbling the bag at one section with jumbling my words. I apologize. But yes. This guy should be coming out in June, I believe, in the U.S. And unfortunately, that means that he'll be obviously a little bit farther along the way for being released for us. Again, some final pictures of these guys. They do look really, really cool. Some more pictures of the Super Saiyan 2 one, since we saw a bunch of pictures of the Super Saiyan 1 one. Again, he looks really, really nice. Definitely pretty excited for these guys, honestly. And our final tweet for today, this is quite interesting that I thought I would mention for sure. The listings for the Dokkan Figure Art Zero Gogeta in Europe, now 80 euros. I believe that is retail price, and it seems that they're waiting for the global anniversary, which is why he wasn't listed alongside the Japan and Asia pre-orders. So what this does also mean, and I didn't even realize that this is what this meant until literally just reading this tweet, I suppose that does mean that we could actually get a Western listing starting, because obviously if he was just listed for Europe now, that means that there is a chance for the US, I suppose. So we'll see what happens with that. I'll definitely keep you guys posted here in the figure news videos, and for this figure specifically, I'll tweet about it on Dokkan Assets, because obviously it is Dokkan related. But yeah, definitely seems like they're waiting for global, and obviously for Porunga and Dende, the 280 euros listing makes sense because he's around 300 bucks US. But that is going to do it for today's figure news video. This was a very beefy boy. We had a ton of figure news this week with all these SH Figure Arts figures dropping from Porunga to SDCC, from the Gogeta information to the Dragon Ball Super Heroes Kuji to the Dragon Ball Dragon Ball Super Heroes and Dragon Ball Super Hero. Both of those Kujis were in here today. So confusing, bro. They really should have changed the name. Dang you, Toriyama. Anyway, that is going to do it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Definitely let me know. I don't know why I said that twice. I really am losing it. Oh no, I need to end the video quick. Let me know what you are the most excited for in the comments section below out of everything that we took a look at today. Again, let me know when I was asking those questions throughout the video what you think about those different things, because obviously there were a little bit of hot topics in today's video. Unfortunately, it seems that usually is the case when it comes to Dragon Ball figure news, but hey, you know, that's just the way the things are, unfortunately, at the moment. But that is going to do it for today. Again, I hope y'all enjoyed, and I will catch you in the next one. Dokkan Assets out. Peace.